Hello YouTube, I'm back with another video. You need dessert, so for different occasions, and so what I like to do is make my cakes from scratch, but when I cannot, I do a little cheating. And so this is for all of the people that can't say they can't cook, but I don't care for store-bought cake. It has a funky taste to it. And so this is what you can do. You start with a cake mix, a boxed cake mix. You can make it straight out the box, but if someone's used to homemade, you can definitely taste the difference. So it doesn't matter what brand it is that you get, as long as it's something that you like. And so this time I'm going to do a carrot cake, only because I don't have any lemon extract to make a lemon cake with. So you start with the box cake and you pour it into the container. I usually use 1 cup of flour, add it to it, yes. And because this is a carrot cake, I use a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. I do not pack it down. Usually when you use brown sugar, you pack it, but I don't want to pack it. I just want to add the flavor and a little sweetness, but not much more than what's already there, because I'm going to drizzle icing over the top of it, so it will be fine. And usually with the carrot cake, you use cream cheese icing, and you can purchase the icing, do it the same way, and just add some real cream cheese to it and some butter, and it will boost the flavor. So I realized that I could have made a video for this, and I was like partially into making it. So as I said before, place the entire box cake in your bowl, 1 cup of flour, a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and into that I also added some shredded carrots, and that was about a 1/2 cup of shredded carrots, and about a cup and a half of walnuts I added to this, and I'm going to mix it. You always want to mix your dry ingredients first. It will be much quicker if you used a blender, or a mixer should I say, but I'm so used to just doing it by hand, and I just don't take it out. It's such a bother to take out the mixer and put it back in. So all of my dry ingredients are mixed together, and into the center you always make a well or a hole in the center so you can add everything. The recipe calls for 3 eggs. I like to get these little bowls. You can purchase stuff out of the store. I like to get these because they stack really nicely. So if I'm in the store and they are selling some type of mixed or chopped vegetables or whatever they have in it, I like to get these so I can actually measure out all my stuff, and I'll have all my ingredients laid out. So that's 3 eggs. It goes right into the center. This recipe calls for 2/3 cup of oil, vegetable oil. You can use butter for more flavor if you like, but I'm going to use vegetable oil. That's in the center. Now, because I added that extra cup of flour and that extra 1/2 cup of sugar, it's going to alter the recipe, which means I'll need a little more liquid. But until then, I will just start with what the recipe called for, and it called for 1 cup of milk. Here I'm using some type of lactose intolerant milk or lactose free milk, and it will run out all over the place, which is fine, but you start with it in the middle, and you're mixing that middle. It's like a well, and I may not need much more. I like my cake mix a little on the thick side, which is fine, but like I said, because I added that extra, it's going to need a little extra liquid because I added more dry ingredients. Those were 3 large eggs by today's standards. Not the normal large eggs you're used to. And see, that's kind of thick. It's not pouring. And so I can add a little more. See, not much more. It's not a flowing. Cake mix should flow. So I'm going to add a little more liquid to that. That's about, that might have been 1/4 of a cup. And so you want enough because it's cake mix, and cake mix is supposed to kind of float into the pan. So I'm going to finish mixing this up. Now I'm using a bundt cake pan, and it has a non-stick surface, but I'm going to use this baking spray. What I would normally do, whether it has a non-stick surface or not, is I would oil the inside or butter it and then add flour to it. But this spray is supposed to have flour already in it, so I'm going to just go over here and spray it. There. And I sprayed a little extra because the bundt cake pan has grooves in it, and I just want to make sure it has some stuff in all the indentations. And that's the modern way to do it. So you don't have to do it the old-fashioned way. But if you wanted to do it the old-fashioned way, when you flour it, you'll put the flour in and just gently tap, 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 and the flour will go all around. You'd go all the way around it to do that. This middle section, to flour that, it's best to put flour in your hand all the way up to the fingertips and put it on there and then roll it around. You want to make sure it's thoroughly floured. If not, the cake will stick and you will have a problem getting it out. So there you have it. And it can be a little looser than that, but I like it like that. That's fine for me. So I'm going to add it into the well. Remember, cake will rise. So depends on how. Usually it will do. It will make just one. Yes. Even with the extra dry ingredients that I added, it's actually putting it where I want it to go, the level of it to the pan. A lot of times you have to use 1.5 boxes of cake mix. And so as you can see, it is about halfway up to the rim. And so we're going to bake this as the instructions say. I normally bake on 350 no matter what the instructions say. So I'll check it after 25 minutes by dipping either the tongs of the fork or toothpick in the center around in different areas to make sure it's baked all the way. Then I'll come back after this is done and put it on the plate and show you how I do the icing that I place on top of it. Until then, thank you for joining in, YouTube.